What's up, Turtle fans? I'm the White Foot Soldier, and today we are going to have a look at two of the Target exclusive classic TMNT figures by NECA. Now, these should look familiar to Ninja Turtle fans because these were actually released originally at San Diego Comic-Con as an exclusive 4-pack that came with a collector's case in 2017. So what happened was NECA was able to get these on the shelves and release them in 2-packs. So we get Donatello and Krang on the left, and we get Leonardo and Shredder on the right. Now, the 4 brothers all come in the same series. We also get Raphael and Michelangelo, who come with a foot soldier apiece. But today we're just going to have a look at Donnie and Leonardo. I feel like, at least from what I've gathered, the Leonardo and Shredder have been kind of the harder one to come by, I think because of obviously everybody wanting Shredder. So we're gonna have a look at the box art first, then we're going to open these up and see what they come with. So let's start off with Donatello here. So we'll pull him a little closer to the camera. And of course we get Krang, the bubble walker, and we'll check out all the accessories when we open it up, but we get a nice window packaging. Some really cool classic turtle artwork, the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo, classic Krang, of course. We get the Nickelodeon logo at the top. And if we turn on the side, we get a shot of Krang there in his bubble walker. Turn it over in the back, and we get some cool shots of this figure out of the package. And as you can see at the bottom, we get, as I mentioned, Michelangelo versus a foot soldier, Raphael versus a foot soldier, and then the other 2-pack that we have today, Leonardo versus Shredder. So it's got a nice little write-up there if you want to pause it or check that out. I'm not going to go through and read that, but we have that as well. And we turn on this side, and obviously has a picture of Donatello out of the packaging there. Let me flip it on the top. Get the TMNT logo, Nickelodeon. And these are obviously collector figures. You can see their ages 14 and up. These are collector figures. They are not meant to be, played with necessarily. These ran about a little over $50 a piece. I think they were like $51 a piece. So these are a little more expensive, obviously, than what we're used to seeing on store shelves as far as the Ninja Turtles go. But they're definitely going to be worth it. I can already see from just the window box there how awesome these are. So flip it over in the bottom, we get some information on the director, the sculpt, and all the good stuff there on the left. 2019 at the bottom, and then NECA, and of course the barcode. So there is Donatello, and we'll slide him off to the side and have a look at Leonardo next. So again, we get some cool classic artwork on the front, Leonardo versus Shredder. We can see that Shredder comes with a few accessories, and as does Leo. Same thing on the top, kind of the same basic design where we have, each figure out of the packaging on each side. And we'll flip it around the back, and we get some cool shots there. Again, everything that we talked about except this one being Leonardo and Shredder. And the same thing on the bottom. So we'll break these open next and check out the figures and also what they come with. All right, now that we have freed the figures from the plastic, let's have a look at them. We'll start on the right side with Shredder and Leonardo. We can see the accessories are laid out in front of each figure. So Shredder comes with a sword, his communicator, and now his communicator is really cool because Krang is actually, there's a sticker of Krang on his communicator, so that's really awesome. And on the back, there's some good detailing. So that's a really neat little accessory. And then also a mutagen canister, and we can see it's painted. I noticed actually these figures in general have paint to where they're almost like shadows. So you can see the bright paint as if the light were hitting it on the front, and then you kind of turn it on the side and you can see like that the light wouldn't be hitting on the back. So that's kind of a neat little touch. So the mutagen canister there. And if we move on down to Leo, we get his 2 katanas, and we also get a turtle com. Now this is the closed turtle com. These are obviously very cool because what kid doesn't remember the turtle com from the classic TMNT cartoon? Moving on down to Krang, we get Krang on his tripod walker there, and he actually, you can see on the bottom, it's kind of sculpted out there for him to fit nicely on top of that. And then we get his bubble walker. Moving on down to Donatello, we get his signature bow staff. And now the cool thing about the bow staff too, it's neat because obviously with wood, it's not always straight. So this thing, you can see it's kind of like curved up There's a lot of little detail in there. It's not just a curved, or not just a straight piece of plastic, you know, representing the wooden bow staff. So it's pretty cool, and it's got some good detailing for the tape there. And then he actually comes with an open turtle comm, so that's pretty cool, and some detailing on the back as well. And he comes with the closed turtle comm, so just like Leo's. So those are the accessories minus the hand swaps, because I actually didn't pull out the hand swaps. I'm just going to show you quick. Shredder obviously comes down in the bottom right corner there. He's got different hand swaps where he has kind of some open hands where he can hold the accessories, and then the closed hands as far as, you know, holding in the sword, and then the hands on him right now are actually closed as a fist. And then moving on over to Leonardo, then we have kind of the open palm. So like I said, I didn't pull those out because there's not really any point. You can just kind of see them there. And then going over to Donatello's, we can see he also has hand swaps there. And if I think we flip this over in the back, we can see, yeah, they're closed, but they're actually open enough. They're a little more, I think, open than the ones that are on him right now. So, you know, for him to hold some different things like the turtle comms, for example. So those are the hand swaps. And then something else I wanted to point out that was cool is the backdrop that comes inside. So the backdrop of these figures, this just kind of slides out. This would be a cool piece if you want to display them on the shelf. It's, you know, a classic shot of the turtle there. So that's pretty neat. And each one is the same, at least for these two. They are the same. I don't know for sure if Raphael and Michelangelo, I assume they are. But these two are the same, so that's kind of a neat little addition. So now if we move on and look at, or talk about the accessories again, we can look, and if you're familiar with the SDCC set, obviously the big thing being the collector's case. You know, these come in, or not individually, they come in 2 packs. So they don't have the big collector's case, and then the one accessory that's missing, all the accessories are spread out, you know, throughout each 2-pack. But the accessories that are missing is that there's no pizza box and pizza. So that one actually comes with the SDCC set. Now you get an individual slice with, I think it's the Raphael, I can't even remember looking back, but you do get an individual slice, but those are the ones that are missing from the, you know, the big set. So that's kind of the main difference. As far as articulation goes, I mean, these are the same exact figures, so I'm not going to run down through the articulation. They are highly articulated, however, and I'm sure that this is not the first review that you've watched of these figures, with them being out now technically for, you know, about 2 years when you consider the SDCC set. So if we just have a look at Shredder, we'll just kind of check out the detailing on him in general. So I was kind of looking closely there when I was opening up, and I didn't notice really any sloppy paint on him. His eyes are good. You know, the different, I believe it is kind of, like I said, with the shadows almost. You get kind of the bright coloring on the front and then kind of the darker coloring on the back. The cape is cloth, which is awesome. And turning him around, we can see just, you know, well, I guess there's a little sloppiness right there on his, I don't know how well that's showing up in the camera, but there's a little bit of like bluish gray paint right there that must have dripped down. But yeah, so the paint's good on these guys. Overall, I like the different shading on them. And of course, these are kind of the same, you know, sculpts as we saw with NECA being able to kind of recycle the sculpt. We were able to get the video game version, and then also which is my favorite, the Mirage Style. Even though the main difference being, you know, the paint, you can still see the character in there. You know, you're not seeing a huge difference and saying, well, it just looks like a painted version of the Mirage. No, like you look at the eyes, you know, it's a human like under there. You know, it kind of looks like a demon almost in the Mirage, how they kind of, you know, have the darkened areas for the eyes. So I think that they did a really nice job with being able to make these worth buying, only, you know, by really having to paint them differently. So just wanted to make sure I pointed that out. Coming over to Leo next, kind of the same detail with the, you know, the front. You're looking at the front, the light's hitting him. He's got the light blue. Turn him over and you get kind of the dark blue there. Same with the skin, actually. You get kind of the darker, shadowy skin there. And something else I wanted to point out is we had his sheaths on the back. So that's cool that we can just, let me see if these should just slide down in there. So there's the sheaths on the back. So that's nice to have those. And of course the shell itself's great. I mean, that's awesome looking. These are really cool figures. I like these. They kind of, I think they more so resemble the later classic turtles, you know, because the other ones were kind of the pudgy looking classic turtles. They kind of got a little bit darker and cooler looking as the series progressed. So let's move on down to Krang now. As we mentioned, we got on the bottom there, it's sculpted out. And then if we have his bubble walker, we can actually open this up. Now this is just plastic, similar to actually the classic bubble walker. So these, his arms or tentacles, if you want to call them, pop out, and then these will go into the side here. So then that way, let me actually do that quickly. And now this one was a little tight. I was messing with it earlier, but when I put it back in, it wasn't as tight. So just be careful pulling those out that you don't snap anything. And then obviously you have the, you know, the Krang's body there. We can just kind of see some great detailing on it. The sculpt's awesome. I mean, it's really, really cool. NECA never disappoints. So, and you put them down in and you can't even really see, you know, where those fit in. So we close that up and it looks like that, you know, they're still attached to him. Here, let me back that up a little bit. Looks like they're still attached to him there. So it's, you know, it's awesome. I mean, that's a really cool bubble walker, and it does articulate. I'm sure, like I said, you've seen that elsewhere, but it does articulate, and it's pretty sturdy too. I mean, they're not loose enough to where it's gonna just fall over, so that's really cool. Moving down to Donatello, same situation with the shadowing. We get the classic D there on his belt. Looking at the eyes, I actually didn't really check the eyes too much on Leo. Some of the eyes obviously on these, now these are pretty good. There's not really any eyes that, you know, the kind of droopy looking eyes or anything like that. So that one's kind of going up a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad as some that I've seen in the past. So turning him over, the dark purple there, and we also get kind of a sheath for his bow staff. So we'll just take his bow staff here, and maybe. And there we go. So of course, being new, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit. So even that shot right there, I mean, that looks really cool, just him standing there. And these things do feature so much articulation that, you know, you'll be able to get some really cool shots with these. I noticed one thing too, I'm not gonna point out all the articulation, but Donnie's a little bit, like his neck and head's a little stiffer compared to Leo's. I did notice Leo's on this one. I'll just stop talking there for a second and show you. You can see it's pretty, loose compared to Donnie. Not a bad thing, just pointing out that, you know, if you're looking for different looks and whatnot. So, okay, that wraps things up for today. Thank you so much for watching, and please continue to support the NECA TMNT line. I know that NECA has gone on record as saying as long as the line is continuing to get support, then they will release new figures. Now we saw Bebop and Rocksteady are coming. They were at Toy Fair, and they're going to be coming to the Target 2-packs. I think that Slash and Leatherhead and the Rock Soldiers will also get that treatment after they get the arcade treatment for probably one of the Comic-Cons. So yeah, so I think that we're gonna get a lot of awesome figures if we continue to support this line. I don't know how any Turtle fan couldn't. These are awesome. So thank you so much for watching again, and please subscribe for more TMNT reviews and news.